So, hello everyone, my name is Jacob Tane. I'm a fourth year business economics major here at UCI. And Education 124 is actually my first and only education class, and I found it to be quite enlightening and incredibly informative about the American school system. So, I have a lot to share with you. Ryan, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Ryan Batbat. I graduated college this past December, so I'm recently unemployed.
Yeah, we're both unemployed, full-time sons. Yeah, and the two of us attended the same high school on Guam, Father Duenas Memorial School, which is one of only two single-sex high schools on Guam, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, we attended a Catholic school, private Catholic school our whole lives, K to 12. So we're going to be talking about that. And anyways, although our experience deviates from our class's focus on the American public school system, there are certainly takeaways from all of the course material that we've read, in class that were relevant to our high school experience back on Guam. Yeah, and I feel there's a lot of knowledge and understanding to gain from the juxtaposition of our experiences attending Catholic schools our whole lives to Professor Barry's valuable insight into the diverse and often inequitable K-12 experience in the United States. Yes. And before we forget, because as we learn in class, race is a salient aspect of society. So we'll go ahead and preface with our backgrounds first. I'm Chinese Filipino, and you, Ryan?
I'm full Filipino.
Yeah, he's full Filipino. Love that.
Who grew up in Guam.
Yeah, excellent. Let's get right into it. Okay, so Ryan, today I want to start off by talking about our uniforms.
Yes.
And I have to say, I personally really liked our school uniforms. I didn't have to worry about picking an outfit every day, which, would have been really tough because at that time, my wardrobe was just Uniqlo black shirts. I mean, you would know. I think I only wear black, and I basically would only wear Uniqlo. And so, yeah, I'd basically be wearing the same outfit every day. And I know there's some certain people that would have a lot of comments about that. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, what do you think?
I personally like the uniforms as well, like in our high school, especially during special occasions where they made us wear pants.
Yeah.
I thought the pants are really nice.
Yeah.
Like, personally, I would wear them outside the school. I liked how the only way people could differentiate people who go to our school is through the shoes that people wear. And then I also liked how they didn't have as much rules in our uniforms.
Oh, yeah. We didn't have to, because like in St. Anthony, my K to 8 school, we had to button our polo shirts all the way up. We had to tuck in our shirts, and we had to only wear black shoes.
Shoes and black belt.
Yeah, so at FD, we had a lot more freedom, I guess, more leeway in how we dress ourselves, but still wearing the same uniform. So as you already introduced, let's talk about the institutional benefits of having a school-wide uniform policy. For one, like you said, there are less opportunities to discriminate against students, both from teachers and peers alike. Because in week 3, we read about how teachers were essentially writing off Mexican students as lazy underachievers because of the clothing and accessories they chose. So here, like you were saying, how Mexican American youth frequently chose clothing and accessories such as baggy pants and multi-layered gold necklaces that confirmed their teachers' suspicions that they really do not care about school. So yeah, they were just discriminating against these students just because they wore what they wore. Like, all they did was wear baggy pants and gold neck chains, which I guess in the eyes of many instructors is enough to deem them worthless.
I feel like what I also liked about our school uniforms is that it shows great pride in our school.
Yeah, I actually have something about that because, well, first, uniform policies help equalize students because it removes visible markers of socioeconomic status, right? And yeah, like you said, aside from preventing discrimination, our uniforms gave us a school spirit of unity and camaraderie, right? Like when you went to Marcanesia Mall again in a shopping center after class, didn't you feel like you were proudly wearing an FD banner? I don't know. I kind of like showing off my uniform.
But at the same time, there were I remember this one. Is it okay if I talk about a controversy?
Sure. Yeah, talk about the controversy.
There was this one instance where we had a classmate. He got bullied, but they were wearing the uniform, and then it was a really bad incident for the school.
That's true, because you represent your school.
Yeah, you represent your school outside.
I guess it could attract unwanted attention, especially if people have maybe misconceptions or prejudice against our school. And because our school, well, it was known as like
it's not.
It's a prestigious school.
Yeah.
I mean, for the tuition we pay, it is.
And there's also rivalries among different schools.
Rivalries, yeah.
But compared to here in the States, everyone in Guam, all the schools, they would have their own uniform.
Yeah, and it does help because it does help with discrimination at least. But let's be honest. Uniforms don't entirely prevent discrimination or bullying entirely, right? Like I remember how an unnamed person would call me Goodwill, right? Basically implying that I thrift my clothes, which I don't. That's so bizarre. But I mean, he was just kind of rude. That was just his style. Like who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I feel like that's just how some people are. But he was roasting you for your shoes.
He was roasting for my shoes, which I think I was wearing. What was I wearing? It was the Adidas boots and Air Force Ones. So I guess those were enough to
warrant
unwanted attention from that certain someone. But he was a friend-ish, I guess.
Yeah, it's just friendly fire.
Yeah, but let's talk about the gender bias that exists because we did discuss gender bias and how usually it seems that female students get the short end of the stick. So I know you mentioned at Bishop, because at St. Anthony, the girls, they had to wear skirts from kindergarten to 5th grade, something like that. So how about at Bishop?
So at Bishop, from kindergarten to 5th grade, they would have a different variation of a skirt where it's a skirt but with the straps.
Yeah.
They would wear that.
It's a full.
Yeah, it's a full dress.
Yeah.
They would wear that from kindergarten to 5th grade. Then I think from 5th grade to 8th grade, you have the option to just wear just a skirt and a t-shirt.
Wait, but it's not the same uniform though, right?
The polo shirt.
It's not the same uniform from previously?
It's different.
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking is because at St. Anthony, the guys, right, they wear a polo shirt and they have the option between trousers or shorts, right? But for girls, for the female students from kindergarten to 5th grade, they had to wear a skirt. Right? But then at 6th grade, upon promotion to 6th grade, the girls had to buy a new set of uniform that was a shirt and shorts. And I'm thinking how come for the girls, why do they have to pay extra upon promotion for a new uniform? And also in all the uniforms they wear, how come they have to expose their legs? What if a girl just doesn't feel comfortable showing her legs or just I don't know, it's cold. She doesn't want the draft on her legs. They have to show their legs, I guess. But I guess it also comes from it has origins in how we have conservative or traditions, I guess, because it's a Catholic school, it's a religious based school, and our curriculum, not only our curriculum reflected it, but also the school ethos, right?
I think so.
Yeah, but wasn't it the same at Bishop, kind of? You said?
Yeah, I remember I had this one class where I think it's called character. Education or something, but I remember during that class we would be graded on how on our haircuts, how our uniform is, how we wore our uniform. And I remember at that class you would get a 90 if you get a comb over. You have the line on your hair, they don't allow that. And it's just they want people to look proper, look nice.
Also about the gender bias though, because so let's go move on to case 2, which is single sex structures. But let me just take a bite from my breakfast real quick. I got the 85 hot dog bun.
Are you gonna ask?
Yeah. It's really good. So in week 6, we examined gender disparities, sexism, bias, and stereotype treatment in schools. And in reading that week's text, I was thinking about how, FD being an all-boys school, a lot of these gender-based issues just couldn't exist. So I posed the question, do the benefits of single-sex structures in reducing gender bias outweigh its cons? Take, for example, in Sadker's and Zittelman's Chapter 3, where the teachers are more responsive to boys' calls to answer who dominate the classroom, even if their input is oftentimes irrelevant. And the authors noted a phenomenon where when girls call out, in class, only then would the teacher suddenly remember the rule about raising your hand before you respond. So you can see, for example, how boys, they're really rowdy, they go up, they raise their hand, it's just stuff like that, right? Get the teacher's attention. But the girls were just sometimes they would just shout. They don't even they don't even wait to be called out, right?
Yeah.
But then when a girl did that, the teachers would say like, oh, that's great, but you should remember the rules, you have to raise your hand before you speak. I guess what makes this bias so disconcerting is that the teachers didn't even realize how they were favoring the male students with like preferential treatment. It was only when they played back the classroom readings to them in this like experiment that the teachers realized they were giving the boys more attention while reprimanding the girls for doing the same thing. There's also the other way too, right? Because I remember at least there was one time in St. Anthony, right, where this girl and I, because I like geography. I guess I have a pretty strong.
You did get into AP geography.
I did, yeah. I did that was interesting. The selection was different because I guess that's
the first quiz, how well you do on the first quiz.
I guess that's the benefit too of like those smaller schools, is that they have a more vested interest in doing your best, because I didn't even want to be in AP geography. It was just
they called your parents.
Yeah, Mr. Temmel pulled me out of class. Our principal, Mr. Temmel, pulled me out of class and said, we think you should be in the AP geography program because they feel it's probably more challenging. But anyways, the point was like in St. Anthony there was this test, right, to see who would be our geography B contestant, and it was just between this girl and I, right? And then we went to the library to meet with our principal, and I was thinking, oh, we'll just have another assessment to determine the final candidate, right? But then she was just like, oh, we're just gonna pick Candace because we just prefer to have a girl as our candidate. And I was thinking, like, I wasn't even really upset because it was just like I didn't really care for the geography BP, but I definitely was kind of confused, like, because it's like something entirely out of my control, right? Like, yeah. I can't choose my gender like that. I mean,
I feel like in my middle school as well, there was like more favoritism towards girls. Do you notice that?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I remember when I was like in middle school, but like
they're kinder to girls.
They kind of do more to get more of the teacher's attention.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember when I was like in 6th grade, we were coming back from our lunch break.
Yeah.
But then the girls were cleaning up the classroom already. And then they were like, oh, you guys can't come in. And they would only let girls in. I thought that was kind of interesting. And then like there was more of a bias towards them, like what you mentioned in the geography B. During our graduation, most of like the ones who become like the top in our class, the valedictorian and salutatorian, they're both girls. I don't think but I thought
that's a great point, because even our National Honor Society, all of them were girls except one guy, and the guy happened, I mean, not that it's related, but the guy was very feminine and he was also gay.
No, I was saying
he deserved it because he was a really smart kid.
I felt like that it's not that they weren't like smart, but there was like some people who I thought were in my class who I thought deserved it.
Yeah, that were underappreciated and under-recognized by our instructors, because that was definitely the case where there was a lot of there was more higher expectations imposed on girls, and as a result, like we just assumed them to be better students.
I remember there was like an award for like student of the month.
Yeah.
Like where they would award like a student for great citizenship.
Yeah.
And in my class when I was 6th grade, it would only go to a girl, except this one instance where it was a guy. But then when it was my first year in high school, I got the quarter of the month. So
I guess you defied expectations right there. But that's what I'm saying is like that's why I thought like at FD I felt a lot more freedom, you know, because like that experience of the geography B thing, it actually stayed on my conscience for a while, because I just felt like that was just really fucked up, man. Like that's not cool.
Another thing that stayed with me was when I was in Bishop, I didn't get into NJHS, the National Junior Honor Society, but then like a lot of I don't want to sound like arrogant, but I felt like I was more like I had more ability than some people. And then, but then they got in, and then I was like, and then my parents would hold it against me. They would be like, "Oh, that's why you didn't get in, is because you're doing this or that." But when I was at FD, I was able to get into NHS.
But we can't really say for sure, like that we can't. We're not trying to diminish the girls' accomplishments, right? Because there are a lot of plenty, like intelligent and really they're good students that were female students, but it's just that there were also a lot of male students, and we felt like they were underappreciated. Yeah. And not to mention how teenage boys act around girls. I mean, look at the awful harassment boys subjected to girls in Sacker's and Zittelman's reading in week 6. They would say to the girls, like, get down on your knees and give me a blowjob, or like, my ball's itchy, come over and scratch them, right? And you know how rowdy FD boys can get, right? Can you imagine if girls from academy were subjected to that? So that's why I was thinking by separating us by gender, it also protects female students from this type of harassment by males. You know, what do you think about that?
I feel like in FD, there were like a lot of instances of like locker room talk. But it's like, I think it's fine in that situation because everyone is like, they know what they can handle and they pass out what they can take.
Yeah.
But like, if there were girls present, I think they would act differently. Like how
hopefully.
we were like in middle school, because in Guam, mostly everyone knows each other from like youth.
Yeah.
So if you combine both schools, I feel like people would have already have a sense of each other.
Yeah.
And it would, and they would eventually like not talk like that.
Yeah,
they wouldn't act like that.
Yeah,
they would act more mature probably.
Well, I don't know about that because we would say pretty nasty things. Like guys at FD would say pretty nasty things, and I mean, look at this. Like this is at a co-ed school, and look how the girls are being treated. Yeah, but then again, like another student replied in my annotation with a great point that schools are supposed to prepare us for society, right? So separating us by gender may not necessarily solve the issue, but rather ignore the underlying problem because it doesn't really teach us to coexist with each other, to thrive with each other, right? And it gives rise to all this like nasty stuff we would say alone because we didn't have those interactions with girls, right? Aside from outside school. And, you know, girls bully each other too. So thank you, Julia, for sharing your input that 1 week because that was actually very insightful.
I feel like after high school, but at the same time it was because of COVID as well.
Yeah.
My social skills were like really bad.
I see.
Especially talking to girls, it wasn't that good because you spent like 4 years of your life just talking to guys. Yeah. And then like I also majored in engineering. Yeah. So it doesn't help out even more because there's less girls. There's only gonna be like 1 or 2 girls like in your class. So it's like it's hard to make an adjustment. For sure. And
that's a great point. Yeah. So FD that's the cons of single sex structures. Yeah, for sure. That's a great point. Thank you for sharing that. All right. So moving on to case 3, smaller class sizes. FD was quite small, right? Our total student body was approximately 400 students. And I think our class, our year, was only 96 students, right? So everyone knew each other, and I guess you would say everyone was pretty close. Like everyone knew everyone.
I agree with that. Yeah. I think that's a really good pro of FD is that it's like very small, so people know each other. And then if people eventually become successful in the future, like you have a connection there.
Yeah, and then in Milner's week 9 reading, right, he articulated the immense benefits of small classroom sizes really well. Like, for example, teachers are able to communicate more directly with individual students. They're able to address student-specific needs. Oh yeah, they learn about the students and subsequently shape the curriculum. And yeah, like students are able to build better social skills. They work better with each other, and there's a greater sense of community. Oh yeah, like for example, our teachers not only knew us by name, but they likely knew a little bit about our parents, right? What they do and our siblings. Because like I remember how our teachers would compare me and my brothers, right? So I think it was Miss Menchu that like one time she playfully inquired why I was so reserved in class when my brothers, because she also had my brothers, she taught my brothers in another class. My brothers were so rowdy in class. And I was thinking, you know, it's something that a lot of students here probably don't get to experience.
I feel like a lot of siblings, especially if you're younger, you always get compared to your older siblings.
Oh yeah, I don't think
like both my siblings were older than me, and then my teachers were like, "Oh, your kid, you're young, to my parents would say, "Oh, your kid is so nice." Yeah. And then they're like, "Oh, you should watch out for the last one."
For reference, Ryan is the last one because he's the youngest student. So here, this is interesting because you're youngest sibling, and I'm the oldest sibling. So my brothers experienced exactly what you did, because I don't mean to inflate my ego here, right? But my brothers would always say how like in class with Dr. Maldia, she would always brag about me and say how I was her favorite student in APA psychology. I mean, I don't want to brag, but it was true. And I'm sure they were really sick of hearing that because they were constantly being compared to me, right? And it also meant that she had high expectations of my brothers. So I'm sure they felt a little motivational pressure to like try hard, which I guess in a way could be good.
My brother was also older than me, and Dr. Maldia would also brag about.
Yeah, your older siblings.
Yeah.
I guess it's just Dr. Maldia's
like,
thing.
She's like, he's so quiet.
I think it's Dr. Maldia's thing. And she even emailed my parents one time to express her gratitude and how much of a pleasure it was to have me as her student. I have the email. I'm going to show it actually. And I think, it's just, it's just, and I know my parents were really happy. It made my parents really happy, obviously. It made my parents really happy, and that actually made me really happy.
I remember when she just really liked their class because she even bought them KFC.
Yeah, she brought us KFC. And
she would never do that for anyone.
You know, in Guam, we have cornbread, and they don't have cornbred here. Like, that's kind of crazy.
They also have
rice.
Cheese.
They have rice, too.
And pinadeni.
But,
you're going to share that email.
I'm
just curious. Maldia actually said that.
Yeah, so in hindsight, I really loved FD's small pupil to teacher ratio because we definitely established a greater sense of connection with our teachers. That was like a work relationship that is almost akin to that of colleagues, right? And that's really nice to be able to collaborate so closely with the instructors, right?
Yeah, there were like some instructors who are also closer to our age.
Yeah.
And then they're also alumni from our high school. So in our school, we would do like an alumni tournament, and you would see them, and then
we would.
There's really like a
they would play against each other, like teachers versus students,
brotherhood in our school.
So that was really nice. Anyways, I guess that's all we have to share. Thank you for watching our podcast, and we hope there was a lot to learn from it. Oh, Education 124 was really nice to partake in. So, thank you, Ryan, for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, and now we get to get lunch.
I'll end it.